It is September 1994, and some childhood friends are getting together to start a rock band. Simon, Marcus, and Christian have known one another for years. Simon plays in a Metallica cover band with Marcus, and Christian plays in an acoustic duo with guitarist Magnus. But they need a bass player. Mutual friends suggest Tomas and Blindside meet for the very first time.
Musikhuset, that's what it was called. Our first rehearsal space in this beautiful building in Norsborg, Hallunda, Stockholm, Sweden.
He remembers us back in the day.
So, we're heading to our first rehearsal space right now. We also play some shows in here. Number 3.
Syrian. Så lirar.
Kul. Ja, vi hade inte sånt här lyx.
Here we go. This is the first studio where we recorded the first demo. Here, Marcus was sitting, trying to keep the beats. We weren't that good, but we had a lot of fun, and that's the important thing. Marcus got this rehearsal space. It's really close to where he lived, but for the rest of us, it was really far, especially taking Swedish public transportation.
They continue to rehearse through December when they play their first gig at a high school show. In 1997, with no labels interested but a growing fan base, the band finds support and encouragement from their friends who start a record label called Dayglow. With little money and the original idea of just creating another demo, the band start on a 10-day recording session that will become their self-titled debut album, Blindside.
MTV News i Stockholm på Stora Essingen för Blindside Television. Jag heter Lasse Mortén och det är rock'n'roll för mig.
Dayglow was a record company that was started by our friends, basically. We got signed and we recorded with a friend, Lars, who also, he did our demo before, and he had never, done a record before either, so, it was totally new for him and new for us. The record label said, make a demo as good as you can, and we were like, no, we're gonna make a record.
I still played a super crappy bass. So we borrowed a different bass for the recording, and you can hardly hear the bass anyway, even though I borrowed a better bass.
That record was such a weird experience. I remember Simon waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping on the floor in the studio. Come on, Christian, it's time for you to sing now. We put down all the rest of the stuff. So I just trying to, stay awake and sing the songs.
Ja, nu får jag ändra om texten lite grann bara. Det är bara en vända för lång.
When we got the first CD, that was a real, like you said, it's to be able to hold that and skip to the next song. It was such an awesome experience. I just felt like we were a real band for the first time.
At some point after we recorded our record, the president for Dayglow Records went to the States to shop our record, and some way after that, Tooth and Nail wanted to sign a deal with Dayglow.
Some of the songs on the record, first record, were pretty old to us, and some of them were brand new. But it seemed like the lyrics got more personal in the end.
By the summer of 1998, Blindside had sold 10,000 units in the US, and the band headed to the States for their first headlining tour.
A friend of ours told us that when you sold 10,000 records in the States, you can go touring, and you're actually able to survive. So that's what I think we did when we heard that we sold 10,000 records on Tooth and Nail. We came over there.
First time when we arrived in the States in '98 to tour, the day after we found out that we had no tour.
The only contacts we had in the States was through emailing, and I'd been talking to this guy on back and forth, and he was setting up a tour, and it was going to be about 40 gigs, and the guy who did the tour went underground. They couldn't get a hold of him, so basically we were sitting there in Sydney, Ohio, with no tour. We just sat down and prayed about it, and we're just basically telling God that, hey, we're here now.
Yeah.
Couple of days of bowling.
Yeah.
I don't lie, everything I said to you was true, but still just words trying to convince myself from my position on the same road. Yeah!
Strike.
It was actually the manager for the band we were bringing out, 44 Ever Given. Their manager, Doug, he called me back in like 3-4 days and told me that everybody from our record label, every band were there, felt bad for us, and they helped us out. So he was actually able to book a tour in 5 days.
Usually what happens is that bands get big in Sweden and they get a huge following, and then they get launched in the States from a big label or something like that. We didn't have anything like that going for us. We just had our car, and actually it was like this little minivan, and we had a map, and we just went to the place they told us to go.
I think it was just a big adventure.
Throughout the summer, the band play a bunch of small clubs and sleep on the floor of fans' houses. The fan base they built in Sweden has already been dwarfed by the strong distribution of the record in the US.
The shows that meant the most were the ones where you can just feel it between you. It wasn't when it stopped being about us and started becoming something about everybody in the room, and something that we're doing together, and not just worshiping a band. It's about something more.
in Wyoming, and Christian's bleeding to death and the van's broken down. This tour is going great.
The tour leads them to Cornerstone Festival in Bushnell, Illinois. Here they make friends with a band from San Diego, California called POD.
5,000 kids screaming along, you know, not singing along, they're screaming along, and there was some, you know, just raising their hands, and that was something that was really, you know, powerful.
If you knew the lyrics, you're up front screaming it.
The band returned to Sweden and begin work on a new record.
We went up to a town called Umeå in the north of Sweden.
Nu ska vi åka och hämta en basförstärkare.
Okej.
Och det är med basta.
Hur kallt var det nu?
1 minusgrader.
Lätt.
Recording in the legendary Tone Technique studio and inspired by a year of touring, the band explode with creativity.
Turn into more of an aggressive record. And more of a, you know, heartbroken record.
I think the lyrics, you know, went into something completely different, and just musically, there's a, you know, totally different sound.
Christian's voice had undergone a change, and he had developed a scream.
I remember when I started singing in there and started screaming, because there were a lot of screaming on that record. The guys kind of came into the control room and they were like, "Oh, is that how you sound now? Okay, cool."
Welcome to the Mars Complex in 1999. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Sweden.
The Warriors Tour is still spoken about today as one of those legendary events. POD, Project 86, and Blindside. POD had just signed with Atlantic Records and recorded the fundamental elements of Southtown. But neither this record nor Thought Crushed My Mind would be released to promote the tour. This was just 3 bands going out and playing for their fans.
We met them the first year we played in the States, and they said that they wanted to bring us on tour, so they brought us over. And this is before, you know, POD was, you know, the POD that everybody knows now.
Simon.
That tour was pulling maybe 700 people a night or something like that.
Up to 1,000.
Up to 1,000 people a night, and you know, without any label support or anything. So that was a pretty cool thing.
Think of Project 86.
And they were so cool.
They were the best. I've never seen them before. They were just absolutely amazing.
What do you guys think of Blindside?
Yeah, they're not.
No good.
Yeah.
No good.
People from other countries.
Is it on?
And this is their camera.
What? No, wait, we love you. Yeah. Wait, look, see, I like it.
Oh, burn it.
they're good friends of ours, but we're very white and very Swedish.
Very different.
And they're very ghetto and like old tough boys.
It's the Americans against the Swedes.
Yeah.
We're gonna win.
No, we'll kick your ass.
What?
You can drive with a new
Did you hear what he
player.
just said, man?
Come on, Marcus.
If you don't like it, you throw it in the trash.
Look, he need more than that.
There's still today people coming up and like, you know, I was going through this really tough time when the first time I saw you with POD on the Warriors tour, and that just made me, you know, not kill myself or something like that, you know, and it gave me hope and when there was no hope, and you know, I got a relationship with God after that, and so there was definitely some stuff going on that tour that was very encouraging and very positive and heartbroken at the same time. So.
With summer upon them, the band did what they always did. They went to the US. By this time, A Thought Crushed My Mind had started to sell, and the fans were more familiar with the material. This tour was a lot easier than the previous run.
How's the tour been for you, Marcus? Bra och lång och tråkig och rolig.
And the band now describe it as a bit of a holiday. The band decided once again to join up with their friends in Plastic Pride.
So in June of that 2001, we went out on a really underground tour. We were 9 people in a 9-passenger van.
With a pack thing on top
pack
of it.
line, yeah. And then we had
drums,
everything.
amps, guitars, everything. No trailers, everything packed in.
Yeah, so we were sitting, you know, and we were out for a month, and we were sitting with, you know, like boxes on our knees and just for 10 hours straight. And
We were sitting so much tighter than we are sitting right now. It was like really super tight.
There's no, you know, like scene. And for every show we were like, yes, we sold some records. Now we, you know, can put the merch in here. You don't have to hold this box anymore.
Tryck då, men tryck då! Nej, kom igen, han kommer. Han kommer nu göra det på
During the same time, we had, you know, been making some demos, and we got invited to fly over to the States. This PD was recording their satellite album, and they wanted us to do a demo in their studio.
What? Hey. Thomas. Good to see you. Look at these ladies.
They actually
paid for everything.
Paid for us to fly over to LA from. We were in Belgium.
That was the first time I met Howard, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The band then flew back from the lap of luxury in Los Angeles to the 9-passenger van in southern Europe.
Good 24-hour flight.
Yeah, and Barcelona looked like a trash dump.
I think before we did this European tour, we were like, we're not going to gain anything from this, you know. We're just going to, you know, basically go out, because we didn't have the record wasn't out in any of the countries we were going to, and it was basically just, you know, to go out and hang out with the guys in Plastic Pride and have, you know, doing it punk rock again. You know.
The band was still in constant contact with Tim Cook, POD's manager, and he offered the band a spot on the Youth of a Nation tour. This was the break the band were looking for. They knew that they could communicate live what the demo could not.
Yay. Yes.
Before Tim would give them the tour, he wanted to make sure that they had the $40,000 US needed to make it all the way around the country.
So we said, like, all right, give us a week and we'll think about it, see if we can get some money. So we just, you know, I remember us having a meeting, and it was a bit of a crisis meeting, I think, because this is, in a lot of ways, it felt like this is our last chance to be able to do this, you know, because we didn't feel like, you know, doing another, you know, punk rock.
Yeah, we were making money on it. I had no more. I couldn't just take more time off for touring, you know. It was,
no.
You know, it wasn't doable.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was, I think it was a turning point for us, where we chose between either just, you know, let's just quit, or we go with it.
Yeah, nobody said it straight out that we were gonna quit, but I think, you know,
it was definitely in our heads, I think.
You know, that this is like our only opportunity. So what we did, we you know, called up some, you know, friends and tried to, you know, get some money, and after a week we didn't have any. Like, I think we had enough to pay for the plane tickets. Just rational thinking, we were like, we're stupidest band in the world going to do this, because it's you know, like, just bound for failure. But I think, you know, we had some belief that, you know, like, something bigger might happen if we go for it, and I think we had the feeling that, you know, hopefully someone was watching over us.
Your eyes were always there.
I think it's never been for us like we've seen like this, you know, fire writing in the sky, like, you shall go over to do this, blah blah blah. It's just been about that peace. And even though, you know, as you said, like, rational thinking would just say that this is ludicrous, don't go. And even some people said that to us, you know, don't go, you might have been in debt and all this stuff. And we're just like, yeah, you're right. And we took some really consideration about, like, are we really gonna do this? And then, like, we just felt, all of us, that we should probably do this, even though it's ludicrous.
Yeah. I called Tim, you know, back the next week, and he's like, so do you guys have the money? Or first he asked, like, do you guys want to do the tour? And we're like, yes, we're going to do it. And he's like, do you have the money? Well, we're working on it. So that's what we did. We just flew over with no money, basically, and we did the tour. I think what you know, in our minds when we got over there, we were like, we're gonna do this, you know. And we had been doing rough tours before. I mean, we came from the European tour that wasn't that fancy, but the thing was also that this was a huge opportunity for us, because, you know, I mean, we were playing to, you know, 3,000 people every night, and a lot of people never heard of us before. So it was definitely, you know, we definitely thought that, you know, if we're gonna do this, you know, let's do it all the way. And you know, some labels came out and saw us, and I remember us actually walking the street in San Francisco. We got a call, like, there's 2 like major labels that wants to meet with you guys in LA. So drive through the night, and you know, so we did that, and from that last show, I remember we got signed to Elektra Records. Actually, the last thing that happened on the tour was because we had no money and we didn't know how we were doing financially. Jimmy sat and counted it the last night before we flew home. And we're like, I wonder if, you know, we're in debt now, or how we're doing. And he counted it, and it was like, we broke even, like, right on the money, and it was, you know, $40,000, right as Tim Cook said. So it's pretty amazing, you know, just how things turned out.
We were working construction and we were working overtime at my dad's company, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and they called
and said, "This is it. We were doing the record, so quit your job and pack your bags."
What do you have to say about it?
I brought plenty of shoes to my suitcase. I don't really know how to close it, but I'll do.
Oh, dude.
In February, the band flew back to LA to start pre-production on the record. Since recording with Howard Benson during the POD sessions, he had become a big supporter of the band, and in his new position as A&R for Elektra, had been influential in getting the deal done. He was a natural choice to produce the record.
I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling again, yes I'm falling again, now again.
We should try it all together.
This is how I make a hit record. Right now, this is how I do it.
Very soon, hold on. Oh, not here maybe.
Base 7.
Hey, det var Simon här från Blindside. Funkar, it works.
Yeah, it works. They actually know Swedish by now.
We really wanted to make a big record, you know, big sounding record. Almost like a wall of sound, you know.
When I came up in the studio, I never worked with Howard before, you know, obviously, and so I didn't know how that would work, but he really made me feel super confident.
Sleepless time tonight.
So this is where I'm supposed to mix with Chris Lord Aldrich.
How about that?
Hello.
Nu ska vi in och lyssna på en låt här.
Ska vi prata om?
De har bråttom för att få en stor.
Felt like the vocals were a little bit too loud there or something.
I think the vocals was a little bit too loud.
I don't think so at all. They sound clear.
But do you know what I mean? Like that place just when it's like no drums or anything?
A video was up next. Given the power and energy of the band live, they wanted a simple video that would capture that performance.
We got a treatment for the Pitiful video from this guy, Nathan Cox, and you know, we got some different, you know, ideas, and we thought that might be cool, you know, because he was actually going to be able to get a room that was spinning around. So we're like, that might be interesting to see what, you know, we can do with it.
Boom!
Take one for the video.
Here comes the boom. Oh my goodness, dude! With all that junk out of the way, the band could get back to doing what it does best, playing live.
all these bands that were major wanted to bring us on tour, and we were just humbled that they wanted to bring us on tour.
Yeah.
So we just jumped from tour to tour, like pretty much non-stop during that time.
Yeah.
Today we're releasing our new album.
And we're
Silence.
Yes.
So it's kind of tragic in a way. We have a day off. We're sitting in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where we are. I just woke up. It's supposed to be the big day.
It had been 2 years since a thought crushed my mind, and no one knew what this record would sell. But when those all-important first week numbers were counted, over 15,000 copies of Silence had been sold, and Blindside had debuted at number 83 on Billboard's album chart.
But I know, as I hammer those nails into your beautiful hands, your eyes that try to search for mine, but I look away. Now your eyes are the only thing that can save me. I'm still afraid of them piercing. You're breaking into my prison, just pretending for a while. My soul is dying, I walk away. I remember every word you said. Come back in time, come back. And I remember us so painted. Beautiful, so beautiful. Beautiful. You're beautiful. Beautiful. So I remember every word you said, but this time I will look away. And I remember every word you said, and this time I will look away. And I remember every word you said. Come back in time, come back. And I remember I'm so painted, beautiful, so beautiful. And I remember every word you said. Come back in time, come back. And I remember I'm so beautiful, beautiful, so
Not wanting to leave such a long time between records, the band decided to move forward with making a new record.
From touring, 11 months straight, we basically flew home to Sweden, had 1 month off, and then we came back and started working on the next album.
We're starting to record today, at this very moment. This is where it begins. Chicago.
Yes, it's the 6th of July.
well spent seems lonelier than like years ago. As I smell you for the first time all over again, I begin to remember to be alone. So if you don't mind, I think I'll wear my heart on my sleeve, 'cause I'm tired of not being able to breathe. Searching for an open door where it's the same house. I call up How you doing? I want to
Okay, sounds great though.
You try to find like kind of a theme or something that's going to be, what the record's going to be called and all that stuff. And the lyrics was actually, I thought about fire in the sky and So we were playing with those words, and we came up with About a Burning Fire. And you know, we were thinking about like what the fire is. If you read in the Bible, you know, it's where God shows himself to man. And we just, you know, we just felt there was something very powerful in that.
On February 24, 2004, Blindside's fourth record is released. About a Burning Fire debuts at number 39 on the Billboard Albums chart, and it sells about 40,000 records in its first week. The tour certainly started with a bang when the band drove their brand new tour bus off the road.
Bang! It's a long way in there, huh? It wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
I tried.
He did a good job, believe it or not.
You guys with your freaking
Good job of running off the road. Yeah, but if he'd have tried to make the turn, he'd have rolled.
That's true.
Probably killed everybody.
Yeah, it could have been big trees, though.
Yeah, it could have
These
been
are
big
pretty
trees.
little trees, you know. I mean, this one that we stopped, this one that actually stopped. So how fast are we going?
And I just saw tree after tree, and I'm like, dude. And I'm like screaming the whole time, like,
Well, we're out in the woods. We just drove off the road. Now we're stuck here until tomorrow because they didn't want to pull it out during the night. So we thought, why not? We just bought this, drove 25 miles and then we went out into the woods. We thought we should at least spend one night in this beautiful baby before they take it away from us.
Two guys came and knocked on the door in the morning.
Right.
See what's up. It's weird because they knocked on the door and then they kind of walked away. So I'm like, hey, we're fine.
It also ended with a bang. Leaving the last show in Dallas, Texas, the band had their van broken into. But in between the two, it was the most successful tour of the band's career and left everyone feeling positive about the future.
We're gonna play a song called All of Us right now. For the first time all over again.
So 10 years, 4 albums, 500 shows, 300,000 records later, after driving and flying some 500,000 miles, the band decided they wanted to make another record.
And so, we're back in our old rehearsal space.
I didn't want to see this.